Hello, this is Shelly Audio. Thank you for joining on this video. I will be reading The Last Time We Say Goodbye by Cynthia Han. I hope you enjoy your stay here, and thank you. Chapter 1. Mom's crying again this morning. She does this thing lately where it's like a faucet gets turned on inside her at random times. We'll be grocery shopping or driving or watching TV, and I'll glance over, she'll be silently weeping. Like she's not even aware she's doing it. No sobbing, no wailing, no sniffing, just a river of tears flowing down her face. So, this morning, Mom cooks breakfast just like she's done nearly every single morning in my life. She scrapped the scrambled eggs onto my plate, butters the toast, poured me a glass of orange juice, and sets it all on the kitchen table. Crying the entire time. When she does the waterwork thing, I try to act like nothing's out of the ordinary, like it's perfectly normal for your mother to be weeping over your breakfast, like it doesn't get to me. So I say something chippier like, "This looks great, Mom. I'm starved," and start pushing the burnt food around my plate in a way that I hope will convince her I'm eating. If this was before, if Ty were here, he'd make her laugh. He'd blow bubbles into his chocolate milk. He'd make a face out of his bacon and eggs and pretend to talk with it, and scream like he was in the middle of a slasher film as he slowly ate one of the eyes. Ty knew how to fix things. I don't. Mom sits down across from me, tears dripping off her chin, and folds her hand in her lap. I stop fake eating a bell in my head, because even though I quit believing God a while ago, I don't want to complicate things by confessing my budding atheism to my mother. Not now. She has enough to deal with. But instead of praying, she wipes her wet face with her napkin and looks up at me with shiny eyes, her eyelashes stuck damply together. She takes a deep breath, the kind of breath you take when you're about to say something important, and she smiles. I can't remember the last time I saw her smile. "Mom?" I say. "Are you okay?" And that's when she says it. The crazy thing. The thing I don't know how to handle. She says, "I think your brother is still in the house." She goes on to explain that last night she woke up feeling dead asleep for no reason. She got out for a glass of wine and Valium to help her get back to sleep, she says. She was standing at the kitchen sink when out of the blue she smelled my brother's cologne. All around her, she says. Like he was standing next to her, she says. It's distinctive, that cologne. Ty purchased for himself 2 Christmas ago and a half-a-gallon bottle from Walmart. This giant radioactive slug green container of brew. The essence of man, the box had bragged. Whenever my brother wore the stuff, which was pretty often, the smell would fill the room. It was like a cloud floating 6 feet ahead of him as he was walking down the hall at school. And it's not that it smelled bad exactly, but it forced you to this weird takeover of senses. "Smell me," it demanded. "Don't I smell manly? Here I come." I swallow a bite an egg and try to think of something helpful to say. "I'm pretty sure the bottle gave out some spontaneous emissions," I tell her finally. "The house is drafty." "There you go, Mom. Perfectly logical explanation." "No, Lexi," she says, shaking her head. The remains of the strange smile still linger at the corner of her mouth. "He's here. I can feel it." The thing is, she doesn't look crazy. She looks hopeful. Like the past 7 weeks have been a bad dream. Like she hasn't lost him. Like he isn't dead. This is gonna be a problem, I think. Chapter 2. I ride the bus to school. I know it's a bold statement to make as a senior, especially one who owns a car, but in the age-old paradox of choosing between time and money, I'll choose money every time. I live in the sleepy little town of Raymond, Nebraska, population 179, but I attend school in the sprawling metropolis of Lincoln, population 258,379. The high school is 12.4 miles away from a house. That's 24.8 miles of round trip. My crappy old Kia Rio, which I not so affectionately refer as the Lemon, get approximately 29 miles to the gallon, and gas in the Neck, Nebraska costs an average of $3.59 per gallon. So driving school will cost me $307 a day. There are 179 days of school this year, which add up to a whopping $549.53. Also, I can have an extra 58 minutes of my day. It's a no-brainer. I have college to pay for next year. I have serious savings, a plan. Part of that plan involves taking the school bus. I actually like the bus. Before, I mean. When I used to be able to put in earbuds and crank up the batch and watch the sun come over the white, empty cornfields and the cliché sun-beaten farmhouses tucked back from the road. The windmills outside turning. Cows huddling together from warmth. Birds gray, slated junco and chickadees and occasional bright flashes of cardinals slipping effortlessly through the winter air. It was quiet and cozy and nice. But since Ty died, I feel like everybody's on the bus is watching me. Some people at Symphony, sure, ready to rush over with tissue at a moment's notice. But others like I've become something dangerous. Like I have bad genes in my blood. Like my sad life is something that could be transmitted through casual contact, like a disease. Yeah, well, screw them. Of course, being angry is pointless, unproductive. They don't understand yet that they are all waiting for that one phone call that will change everything. Because someone they love will die. It's one of life's cruel certainties. So with that in mind, I try to ignore them, turn up my music, and read. And I don't look up until we gone the 12 miles to school. This week I'm rereading A Beautiful Mind, which is a biography of the mathematician John Nash. There was a movie which has entirely too little math in my opinion, but was otherwise okay. The book is great stuff. I like thinking how Nash saw our behavior as mathematic. That was a genius. Even if he did go crazy and start seeing imaginary people, he understood the connection between numbers and the physical world, between our actions and the visual equation that governs them. Take my mother, for instance, and her announcement that my brother is still with us. She's trying to reconstruct our universe so that tide doesn't disappear. Like the way a fish will thrash his body on the sand when it's speechless, an involuntary reaction, a survival mechanism, in hopes that it might rock his way back into the water. Mom is trying to find a way back to the water. It makes sense if I look at it from that angle. Not that it's healthy, not that I know what to do about it. I don't for a second believe that Ty is still in our house. He's gone. The minute the life left him, the minute the neurons in his brain quit firing, he stopped being my brother. He became a collection of dead cells, and is now, thanks to the miracle of the modern bottling process, well on his way to becoming a coffin full of green goo. I will never see him again. The thought brings back a hole in my chest. This keeps happening. Every few days since the funeral, it feels like a giant gaping cavity opened up between my third and fourth rib on the left side. An empty space to reveal the vinyl buzz seat behind my shoulder blade. It hurts. My whole body tightens with the pain. My jaw locking and my fists clenching and my breath freezing in my lungs. I always feel like I could die when it happens. Like I am dying. Then as suddenly as it comes on, the hole fills in again. I can breathe. I try to swallow, but my mouth has gone bone dry. The hole is tied, I think. The hole is something like grief. School is largely uneventful. I float through an autopilot, lost in the thoughts of John Nash and beach fish and the logistic how current of air could have carried the scent of my brother's cologne from where it sits all dusty by the sink in the basement bathroom to the den, up the stairs, to the kitchen to utterly confuse my mother. Then I hit what used to be the best class of the day, 6th period, honors calculus lab. I like to call it Nerd Central, the highest concentration of the smartest people in school you're ever likely to find in a given place. My home sweet home. The point of this class is to give students time to study and do their calculus homework. But because we're all nerds, we all finish our homework in the first 10 minutes of class. Then we spend the rest of the hour playing cards, poker, war, hearts, rummy, whatever strikes our fancy. Our teacher, the brilliant mathematician Miss Mahomey, sits on her desk in front of the room and pretends that we're doing serious scholarly work. Because it's kind of a free period too. Since the school budget cuts back and eliminate her prep hour, she has a thing for cats viewing YouTube. We all got our weaknesses. So there we are, playing a rousing game of 5-card draw. I'm killing it. I have 3 aces, which is a lovely math problem on its own. The probability of getting 3 aces one hand is 94 over 54, 145, or if you want to talk about odds, 574 to 1, which is pretty freaking unlikely when you think about it. Jill sitting on my left, twirling a lock of her bright red hair around her finger. I think she means the hair twirling to look like some kind of tail, as if she has an amazing hand, but it probably means just the opposite. Eleanor is sitting on my right, and she says she has a lousy hand, which I know because she comes out and say I have a lousy hand, and folds. That's all. She said what she thinks, no filter. Which brings us to Steven, who is sitting across from me with a very good hand. How do I know? He's trying to be all stone-faced, which he feels in every way. It's the one thing I used to like so much about Steven, his inability to hide his feelings. You can reliably see what's going on in his head through those big round eyes of his, which at the moment are definitely happy about the cards he's been dealt. So yeah, he has a good hand, but 3-8's good? Probably not. I'll see your bet and raise you 50 Skittles. I can't push the candy to the center of the table. The player's stuck in a collective breath. That's a lot of candy. Steven looked at me dubiously. Well, I say, a challenge and I think. Just because we broke up doesn't mean you have to go easy on you. Just because something bad happened doesn't mean you have to go easy on me. But before you can respond, Miss Mahoney calls my name. Alexis, can I talk to you for a moment? Singling me out. That can't be good. I put my cards face down on the table and make my reluctant way over to her desk. She's chewing on her bottom lip, another ominous sign. What's up? I chirp. I want to talk to you about this. She pushes a piece of paper across her desk towards me. Last week midterm. Worth 25% of my total grade. Upon which, next to my name, is a scrawled big red 71%. I push my glasses up on my nose and scan a innocuous piece of paper aghast. Apparently, I got the answer to 3 whole problem outright wrong, and she gave me only partial credit on the 4th problem out of 10. 71%. Practically a D. I swallow. I don't know what to say. I know this stuff, I say hoarsely after a few excruciating seconds, looking over it yet again, seeing my own glaring error so plainly it feels like some kind of cruel practical joke. There goes my 4.0, I think. Boom. I'm sorry, Miss Mahoney said quietly, as if everybody in the room isn't already straining to hear this conversation. I can let you retake on Friday. You think that will help? It takes me a few seconds to understand. What is she sorry for? Why is she offering me a do-over when she never gives do-overs? Your grade is a fact, she always says. You must learn to deal with the facts. I straighten. No, I'll take it. I grab the edge of the paper and pull it towards me. Picked it up, folded in half to hide the grade. I'll do better in the final. She nods. I'm so sorry, Lex, she says again. My chin lifts. For what? I ask, like I don't know. You didn't bomb the test. I did. I know things has been hard since Tyler, and she pauses. God, I hate that pause. When the person speaking searches for the most watered down way to say died. Like calling it by another name is gonna make it less awful. Turns like lay to rest. Like there's some kind of nap, passed, or departed. Like it's a vacation. Expired. Which is supposed to be more technical, but really sounds like the disease is a carton of milk. A day stamp on them. After which they become, well, sour milk. Killed himself. I filled in for Miss Mahoney. At least I'm determined to be straight about it. My brother killed himself. In a garage. With a hunting rifle. This makes it sound like the most morbid game of Clue ever. But there it is. The facts. We must learn to deal with the facts. I'm fine, I tell her. Then, again, I'll do better in the final. She stares up at me, her eyes full of terrible pity. Is there anything else? I ask. No, that's all, Alexis, she says. Thank you. I go back to the poker table. I can feel the stares of other students on me. My friends, my classmates. Most of whom I've known since the 6th grade and had done math class or the science Olympic team or a physics bowl over the past 4 years. All now thinking I must be so cold and cynical to say it like that. Like I don't care. Like I clearly didn't love my brother, even if it was just rather off the fact that he died so easily. I sit down, slip the offending test into my backpack, and try to face my friends, which has turned out to be kind of impossible. Jill's eyes are shining with tears. I can't look at her or I know she'll start full out sobbing, which could set off every girl in the room except possibly Elle, because hysterical girl crying, unlike suicide, is definitely contagious. I could go, I think. I could simply walk out, down the hall, out of school, into the frigid 21 afternoon and a 12-mile walk home. Freezing to death might be preferable to this. Miss Mahoney will let me go. I wouldn't get in trouble. But it's because I wouldn't get in trouble that I can't leave. I can't have special treatment. Not for this. So I pick up my cards and try to totally fail to smile and say, as casually as I can manage, now, let's see. Where were we? Ah, yes. 3 aces. Lex, says Elle. What grade did you... I pointed Steven. I believe you were going to call. He shook his head. I fold. This sign was written all over his face that he has more than he wants to say. A lot more. But he doesn't know if it's his job anymore to try to comfort me. He doesn't know how to comfort me, so he folds. I glance at Elle. She doesn't meet my eyes, but shrugs one shoulder and stares at her fingernails like she's bored. I had the crap pen, remember? Beaker? Our prompt? Jill nods and takes a shaky breath and pushes most of her remaining schedules to the center of the table. I'm in, she says. She has nothing. A pair of queens. I put my cards down and aces up. So hooray! I win all the candy. But it feels like I lost something so much more important.